Hello, class. It's time for our daily read aloud of the first rule of punk. And if you remember, Malu was going to her first day of school. She had just put on some makeup against her mother's wishes, and she was leaving it on because she had no choice, because mom was like, oh, you gotta go. So, let's see where her adventure takes her. Chapter 6. Finding homeroom was easy. Walking into it was a little harder. I stalled a bit, looking at my schedule and then at the number next to the door. It was definitely the right room, and I knew I couldn't avoid it forever. As soon as I stepped through the doorway, it felt like all eyes turned on me. It's a little early for Halloween, someone called out. A few kids sitting in the back of the room burst into laughter. Miss Hernandez, the homeroom teacher according to my schedule, stared at me for a few seconds too long before waving me in. Yes, she said, searching for her desktop for something. I may need to talk to you, but go ahead and sit for now while I get through roll call. My stomach twisted like a pretzel. Why would she need to talk to me? Please don't let it be about my makeup. I scanned the room and hurried to the first empty seat I saw. I'd barely slinked down into my chair when the girl sitting across from the aisle spoke to me. You're new, right? She asked, chewing on the candy necklace she wore. Yeah. What's up with your makeup? I got the same feeling inside as when Mom would start in on me about my clothes, like I had to get ready for battle. I knew the girl wasn't just curious, she was judging me. What's up with yours? I asked. The words spilled out before I realized it was not only rude, but a pointless retort, since she didn't appear to wear anything but lip gloss. Maria Luisa O'Neill Morales? Miss Hernandez called, looking around the room. I cringed at the sound of my name and raised my hand. Miss Hernandez, I said, you can call me Malu. She nodded and marked something on her attendance sheet. What kind of name is that anyway? The girl asked. It's weird. She said it loud enough for the kids around us to hear. She said it like there was something wrong with my name. Like there was something wrong with me. Don't you mean unusual? The girl in front of her said and giggled. She wore a candy necklace too. Sorry, yeah, that's what I meant, she said. What are you? You're not Mexican, right? What are you? I was used to getting some version of that question, especially when people heard my name. I wasn't always sure how to answer. Sometimes it just seemed easier to blurt out what my mom calls my pie chart. Half Mexican, half fill in the blank with the names of a bunch of different European countries. I didn't think this girl would care much about my pie chart. She looked at me, waiting, daring me to say something. I had the feeling that no matter what I said, she wasn't going to like it. I'm half Mexican, I said. Half Mexican, huh? Psh! It sounded like gas escaping from the bottle of soda. She looked at me from head to toe, then turned back to her friend, swinging her long curls in the process. She and her friend could have been twins. They both had dark, glossy hair that hung down their backs, and their bangs were straightened and hairsprayed. I pulled my notebook out of my bag and wrote down some ideas for a new zine. I tried to imagine that I was in a bubble that could protect me from this new place and this girl, like the one Glinda the Good Witch travels inside. Selena Ramirez? Miss Hernandez called out. The girl who had been talking to me raised her hand without turning away from her friend. They huddled together and giggled. I knew what they were laughing about because every so often the other girl, the one who answered to Diana during roll call, looked over and made eye contact. Malu, could you come here, please? Miss Hernandez asked. My bubble burst. I slid out of my chair and heard Selena and Diana whispering, ooh, as I passed by. When I walked up to Miss Hernandez's desk, she was flipping through a thin, spiral-bound book. Printed on the cover was Jose Guadalupe Posada, M.S. Student Code of Conduct. I could be wrong, Malu, but according to this, I think your makeup is a dress code violation, she said, putting the manual down. You'll need to go to the auditorium. Am I in trouble? I asked. Punks don't worry about getting in trouble. But this punk still had to answer to her mom. No, of course not. It's only the first day of school, Miss Hernandez said. But Principal Rivera wants everyone to be clear on the dress code. She held out a copy of the manual for me to take. Collect your things and head down there, she said. It's at the end of the hall. I nodded and walked back to my desk. I could feel Selena watching me as I stuffed my notebook and the Code of Conduct booklet into my backpack. Welcome to Posada, Maria Luisa, she whispered before she and Diana broke into a fit of giggles. Not Googles, giggles. So there's her pie chart, story of a name. My name. Who names their kid Maria Luisa? Mom says it's unique. I think it's like something you'd find in an old antique store, old, dusty like a genie bottle. Get me out of here, except it doesn't grant wishes. Not old, only a little dusty. Definitely cannot grant wishes. Self-portrait with cool t-shirt. Dad wanted a name that was punky. Mom wanted something traditional. They couldn't agree. Surprise. So it's kind of like a zine Then one night they watched a movie about a famous painter and agreed. Traditional punky Mexican, good choice, Frida. But a few days later, while reading a book about Frida Kahlo, Mom came across Maria Luisa, a.k.a. Maria Luisa Black, a.k.a. Malu. There isn't much about her except that she was an artist too, but she's in a photo with Frida and her husband Diego Rivera. Malu is barely in the frame, like she wasn't the focus of the picture. Mom says Frida is so famous there are probably plenty of Fridas in the world, and who wants to be one more Frida anyway? Mom introduces me as Maria Luisa so that I don't forget who I am. A strong Mexican name for a strong Mexican girl. But to me, Maria Luisa feels like Mom's dream pie chart. So it's like all these parts of that her mom wants her to be. But I feel like this. It's her pie chart. Music, inside the frame, like Frida. Punky, weirdo, American, zine maker, not into the señorita business. It's like Mom's Maria Luisa and Malu are two different people. That was the end of the chapter. Well, sounds like maybe a rough day at school to start things off with, but she'll recover, right? She's strong, independent. Please see what you need to respond to for the prompt, guys.